Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron and welcome back to the Gamertron Show and welcome back to yet another Top 5. Alright, this video requires a little bit of a background story and explanation. Over a year ago, I made a video called the Top 20 Warframes. I eventually had to rename that video to Top 20 Warframes of Warframe because people were really pissed that the word "the" was in the title and can't tell the difference between subjectivity and objectivity. Now that video got really popular, and every single month after that video was made, an overwhelming amount of people have been asking for an updated video. So I slowly but surely prepared to make top 25 Warframes of Warframe as soon as there were 25 Warframes. So the 25th Warframe comes out with the revolutionary new update, the Second Dream. And I get to work on making my top 25 favorite Warframes from Warframe. However, when the video was nearing completion, a 26th Warframe was released, making my video immediately irrelevant before it even got out. Listen, the short version is, making a top 25 Warframes would take too long, and by the time I get that video done, a new Warframe would be released. Making a top 10 wouldn't be as long, but there's still always the risk a new Warframe would come out just as I finish the video. It's much easier, simpler, and straight to the point if I just make a top 5. Similar to my top 5 favorite monsters from Evolve. You should go watch that video, by the way. Anyways, I am so sorry to have kept you all waiting. Let's get right into it. You guys know I love this game, you know I love Warframe, and you know I love each of the 26 playable characters. Our Warframes, our Tenno, our Space Ninjas, each with their own unique designs, personalities, and special abilities. But which 5 out of this huge roster are my favorite? Well, allow me to share that with you with my top 5 favorite Warframes from Warframe. Number 5. Chroma, the Dragon Frame, the Elementalist, the 2-for-1 special. First off, if you guys know anything about me, you know I love dragons. I love dragons. And Chroma is essentially a dragon Warframe, while at the same time making reference to Warframe's spiritual predecessor, Dark Sector, by sharing the likeness and name of an enemy from that game, the Chroma. So I immediately have a personal connection to Chroma right away. But it takes more of his background details and his character design to become one of my favorite Warframes, which is where his awesome abilities come in. First off, all of his abilities are affected by what color you paint his energy. Depending on what color Chroma is will determine the elemental effect, which is so unique and badass. His first ability, Spectral Scream, is essentially just him breathing fire or ice or lightning or poison or whatever the element he happens to have equipped. Great for taking out clusters of enemies or doing some elemental damage and or proccing or stunning a heavy enemy. And it just looks so cool to boot. His next ability, Elemental Ward, once again affected by your energy color, is actually a support ability for both yourself and your team of Tenno, creating this area of effect around Chroma and his teammates, granting them some sort of elemental defense, of course depending on what the element is. Third ability, Vex Armor, is an extremely useful boost in dire situations. When the ability is activated, when shields are hit, Chroma's armor grows stronger. When health takes a hit, weapon damage increases. So activating Vex Armor at the right time can either save your life or help you devastate your enemies. And Chroma's fourth and ultimate ability, Effigy, Chroma basically splits in two, separating his armor from his main body to create this living dragon turret that kills, stuns, and aggroes enemies, while your new, less bulky Chroma self gains a decrease in armor but increased speed. This ability, while not as flashy or destructive as other Ultimate Warframe abilities, can be extremely useful for multitasking, for defense, for reviving a downed ally, for distracting a boss. The uses for your ultimate, Effigy, are almost limitless. I also like that overall Chroma is one of the more tankier frames. What else can I say? Chroma looks cool, his abilities are very useful and unique, and I just have fun playing as him. Oh yeah, and he's a freaking Dragon Warframe! A Dragon Warframe! Number 4. Ember, The Pyromancer, the woman on fire, the endless flame of Warframe. Okay, not gonna lie here, Ember is one of the very first Warframes I ever got, and she's the first lady frame I ever got and played as, so I still have a flame in my heart for her. One of the reasons being, her design is so original. I don't know what they used for a point of reference, what culture, what creature, whatever they used to help design Ember, but she looks stunning. Helmet, arms, and legs all magnificently detailed. To this very day, she looks very unique and very cool. But then we have her abilities of fiery destruction. Now, even though Ember's abilities have had several reworks and changes done over the years and many updates that she's been out, each one of them still retains their usefulness. For instance, her first and very classic ability, Fireball, which is what it sounds like. She lobs a fireball at you, which of course can kill an enemy or set them ablaze, for obvious elemental damage. But the unique thing about this fireball, whatever surface it hits, there are still lingering flames that create kind of an area of effect around the enemy or spot that was hit by the fireball, allowing for the possibility of multiple enemies to be lit on fire. Her second ability, Accelerant, stuns all nearby enemies while proccing them to take much more damage from any fire damage whatsoever, whether it be abilities or weapons. Needless to say, combining Accelerant with Ember's other abilities guarantees a shit ton of damage and a fire show. Ember's third ability, Fire Blast, one of my faves, creates a ring of fire around her. This is great for defense missions, trying to separate different groups of enemies, or just take a breather from those pesky melee enemies. And then we have her ultimate, World on Fire, which I think should be renamed to World of Explosions. What essentially happens is, once activated, all nearby enemies spontaneously combust into flames. It's a sight to behold, eradicating small armies, bigger, tougher opponents, and just anything and everything within the vicinity. I think this perfectly represents Ember's fiery personality. Ember is just a fun, damage-dealing Warframe to play. A lot of video games have that character who has the flamethrower or the fire magic, and Ember is the Pyro or Pyromancer of your dreams. Number 3. Nyx. Alright, let's get this right out of the way. The Warframe Nyx is yet another huge reference to the Warframe predecessor Dark Sector, as she in many ways resembles my favorite boss from that game, Nemesis. And well, yay, references! However, no matter the relationship to her predecessor, Nyx on her own is one of the most useful and most powerful Warframes in the game. Before we get to that though, quick remark on her design. Nyx is essentially the feminine Excalibur with the Nemesis-esque helmet, providing an interesting contrast to her male counterpart. Anyways, abilities. Now this is the good stuff when it comes to Nyx. First up, flat out mind control. Whatever enemy you are looking at, no matter the level, no matter the size and strength unless it's a boss, turn that enemy into your mind controlled minion that will fight for you and protect you. This ability is just great for turning the tides of battle, distracting enemies, or just screwing around. Her second ability, Psychic Bolts, is one of her weakest abilities, I gotta be honest with you. While it does do some damage and can be used as a last resort if you're out of ammunition or have some energy to spare, I mean, it is what it sounds like. You throw Psychic Bolts at an enemy and do some damage. If it's a low-level enemy, you'll most likely kill them. Honestly, as much as I love Nyx, this ability is pretty meh. Her third ability, on the other hand, I absolutely adore. Chaos.
Show me the enemy.
My lord, I am not your bootleg!
No, not that Chaos. This ability essentially tricks all enemies in Nyx's vicinity into thinking, well, every one of them is Tenno in Warframe, so every single one of them starts attacking each other, no matter the faction, unit type, or strength. 1. This ability is endlessly useful on all mission types. 2. This ability can save your life or your team's life when used at the opportune moment. Need to revive someone? Chaos! All the enemies start fighting each other instead of targeting you while you revive someone. The pod you need to defend is taking heavy damage? Use Chaos, and have the enemies start attacking each other instead of the pod. Need more help during a boss battle? Use Chaos and have all the boss's minions turn against him. Third and finally, Chaos just looks so friggin' sweet. It really is just nice to kick back and watch armies of enemies just battle each other to the death. In some ways, Chaos almost transforms Warframe into an RTS. God, I love Chaos. And Nyx's final ability, Absorb, can be very useful as well as badass looking. Nyx creates a sphere of absorbing energy around her, gaining aggro from enemies, but every hit, every shot, just builds up and absorbs damage while you, Nyx, are invulnerable for as long as you have energy. And when you're ready, release all of that absorbed damage back onto your enemies, causing massive damage or killing them outright, while sending them flying to boot. Nyx is just awesome. She's an awesome Warframe with awesome abilities, for the most part. And she's a very useful Warframe. No matter the mission, it's always handy to bring a Nyx Warframe alongside you. Number 2. Necros. The Necromancer Warframe, the Shaman, the exploiter of enemies. Alright, let me say this right off the bat. Despite Necros being added to Warframe over a year ago, to this day he is still one of the coolest looking Warframes in the game. Just the combination of this skeletal, zombie-like, infested, technological and yet slick and smooth, yet creepy, twisted, and bizarre. Oh my god, it's just such an amazing design for this character. Amazing character design for Necros. I can't help but praise the design of this character and just how friggin' cool he looks. But Necros is again an extremely useful Warframe, with his abilities aiding himself, the team, and exploiting his enemies in every way possible. Necros' first ability, Soul Punch, is for the most part a single target damage dealing attack. However, if there are any other enemies nearby that targeted enemy, Soul Punch will jump from that enemy to any enemies nearby and just hit all those suckers, either killing them or stunning them. His second ability, Terrify, is exactly what it sounds like. It terrifies all enemies nearby, sending them into a panic, running away, and not attacking. Ability is extremely useful if you're getting swarmed, you need to defend an objective, revive a downed ally, or just fight some enemies without them fighting back. Third ability, Desecrate, is extremely beneficial to both Necros and the entirety of a team. This ability, in an area of effect around Necros, tries to scavenge up bonus loot from dead bodies of enemies. So the more dead enemies near Necros, the better the Desecrate. And the more loot you will receive, ranging from ammunition to health and energy to even resources. And who doesn't want more of all that stuff? And then we have Necros' ultimate ability, Shadows of the Dead, which creates shadow clones, basically minions, of all of Necros' recently killed enemies. Basically building yourself a little army from all the bad guys you just recently killed. And you can basically customize what shadow clones, what minions you want to spawn based on what enemies you kill. You want a ton of heavy damage dealing tanky enemies? Kill a group of them in quick succession, and they're all yours. Necros finds that balance of being aesthetically and mechanically cool, just flat out cool. His design is cool, his abilities look cool, but on top of that, they're incredibly useful in almost in every situation. And my number 1 favorite Warframe from Warframe is Excalibur. Sorry to somehow disappoint if this somehow disappoints, but I am who I am and I like what I like. And I love Excalibur. He was the first. He was the first Warframe ever revealed. He was the first Warframe I ever played as, that I ever got. And I have never not had fun playing as Excalibur. Also, he's just one big, huge walking reference to Dark Sector and the protagonist and the armor from that game. So you know, yay, references! But besides Excalibur's iconic design, and despite him being basically the starter Warframe, he still remains very fun to play as, very useful, and very effective. Also, if you love melee combat, Excalibur is your Warframe. His first ability, Slash Dash, well, it's exactly how it sounds like. You dash to an enemy, slash them. However, you can combo and connect the ability with other enemies, and slash and dash from one to the next. His second ability, Radial Blind, is great in any situation, whether it be catching your breath, reviving a downed teammate, or just stunning enemies for easy kills. His third ability, Radial Javelin, is just a solid overall ability for taking out large groups of enemies, and is real cool looking to boot. However, now, we have Excalibur's brand new 4th ability, his new ultimate, which has increased the character's popularity tenfold. Exalted Blade. Basically, Excalibur makes this sword of energy. You know what? Screw it. It's a lightsaber. He makes a lightsaber out of thin air, and it's amazing. And it creates like energy slashes or energy waves that cut enemies to bits and do massive damage, and it's a visual spectacle treat. And the best part is, as long as you have a constant supply of energy, you can just keep using Exalted Blade. You don't even need to use your other weapons. As long as you have energy, you can use Exalted Blade and just destroy everything, and it's wonderful. So yeah, over a year later, from my top 20 Warframes, and Excalibur is still my #1 favorite Warframe. I hope you liked the video. If you did indeed like the video in any way, shape, or form, please hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved in the video. If you hit the like button, please leave a comment. What do you think of my favorite Warframes? What are your favorite Warframes? Let me know in the comments section below. I love reading comments. I get nearly enough comments. Please leave a comment. And finally, I am the Gamertron. I love video games. I love talking about video games. If that's something that interests you, maybe consider supporting my channel by subscribing to me. Anyways, guys, this has been a video, and I will see you guys later.